Hello, everyone, and welcome to this broadcast that I'm doing on Google Hangouts and YouTube, and putting it out there and sharing about fear. Fear is one of the emotions that stops us from succeeding, and it's been interesting as for myself, even as a speaker and a trainer, and with all the work that I've done, is that every now and then it pops up again. And it's been interesting because I've gone and done quite a bit of research. I've already worked with myself on it, but I had to go and find some more information, which here's a great quote which I came across, and it says, fear is the only thing that gets smaller as you work towards it. And that's absolutely totally true, because there's something happening to us that is stopping us from moving ahead. And so I've been listening and doing a lot more research again. So one of the things that really connected with me was that how fear is an emotional and chemical reaction in us. And so once I understood that, I sort of thought, well, okay, that's fabulous. That just sort of, to me, it gave it some sense. And because I would have this feeling that, all these things that could go wrong, and I knew that I shouldn't be having them, because I would delve back into my mind and make a list of all the things that I had succeeded in, but this overcoming fear kept popping up again. And so this is where I thought that it might help you as well. So one of the things that I discovered was how it works in our brains after I was listening to John Assaraf, and I do a lot of learning myself from all the experts, was that it's on one side of our brain we have it, and then we have to get over to the other side of our brain to be able to change it. And so for me, certainly when it was here and it was like, I just couldn't kind of catapult myself out of it. And I kept going back to all the things I succeeded in. The back of our brain here is where apparently we keep all our successes. And I would say, well, I've written a movie script, I've written a book, I've attracted $50,000, I've done this, and I've, all the things that I had achieved were back here, and I was bringing them forward to my mind, but I still needed to be able to catapult and get over it. So that's where I thought that understanding that would be really, really helpful for you, because I write about success, I talk about success, I've got huge plans, and I've achieved a lot, but when it keeps on coming back again, we need to be looking for a reason for it. And so some of the things that I was been learning as well, besides, I've gone and had coaching so that I could learn to overcome my fear. So I have a strategy. I was offered lots of different strategies, and one of them is to be able to go and think of yourself at 5 years ahead, and then look at your future self looking back at yourself now. And what would your future self say to yourself right now? And it was interesting. There was an interview on, I think it was Entertainment Tonight, and that's what they were doing with Kevin Costner. And there was Kevin Costner now, beautiful and lovely Kevin Costner now, and they showed him a picture of him 25 years ago when he was, in his 20s or 30s. And he said, they said, well, what would you tell your inner child? And he said, just exactly that, is that to believe in yourself. He said, because every role that I've had while I've been in the movie making business are the roles that I've been wanting to have. And so although there was a lot of fear back then, he said, well, I just kept on going and plugging my way through it. And so, that's really what it is. It's like, you have to overcome your fear. And Tony Robbins is exactly the same. He says, you just have to actually push yourself through it. And so it's all the things that you can do in your brain to be able to push yourself through it. And so for another one of the tips that you might like, and which is something that I do, and it works well for me, but, sometimes I still sort of, I have these moments, was that I see fear and I put it in a little basket, and I see it all sliding out of me, put it in the little basket, and it sort of disappears out to sea. So it's like finding different ways that you can deal with your fear. And here's another couple of people that have been told that they were no good at something and they would fail, yet they went ahead and did it and created success as well. Now, one of them was Oprah. Oprah was told that she was going to be no good at primetime TV. She didn't have the face. She didn't have she wasn't the right person to be at primetime TV in America. Well, she proved them all wrong. And look what she's gone and created with her TV show. And so for for people when we're looking to overcome, and for you when you're looking to overcome your fear, it's just something else that you have to learn to deal with. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck where you are with unfulfilled dreams. And as they say, the best ideas in the whole world are in the graveyard. And the reason they're in the graveyard is because people didn't learn to overcome their fear. And so a couple of other different things here that I wrote down just to make sure I'm on track with you about some ideas to overcome your fear, is that it's understanding that in your brain there's all these pathways, and it's interesting when you look at a video of it and it's like, wow, it's just amazing. But the fear is a pathway or a neurolink that has to be replaced. So the way that you replace that, it's like that you have to create those thoughts. So if you think about it, you know, a flood and or even down at the beach, that the water will go the easiest route out to the sea, especially if there's been a lot of rain. And sometimes the kids will come along, especially around here, and they want to play and they block it all up. And so, you know, suddenly there's a great big pond for them to play in and the water's not getting out. And so, you know, then if you dig another drain, then the water flows another way and it will eventually get to the sea. So if you think about that's what's happening in your brain as well, is that it gets blocked up with these old pathways, and so you've got to be able to change them to create some new pathways. And some of the things that you can do is absolutely definitely affirmations, visual. I'm a visual person. That's how I learn, and some people aren't. Everyone's different, but I like to have pictures and I like to have a lot of quotes and words around me to keep me focused. And so you've got to find the things that are going to keep you focused as well. And so those are sort of some things that when you're looking at what are you fearful of, that these are some techniques that you can use to be able to move yourself forward. And one of the things, and I offer a free 30-minute dream, believe, achieve discovery session, because that's what I've done as well. Is so that when I received an idea or was inspired to write a movie script, which was 10 years ago, it took me 5 years to have the confidence to be able to do it and devote my life to it to get it finished. But it was a dream first, and well, first of all, it wasn't a dream, but when I embraced it, it became a dream. It was like I was going to commit myself to this, absolutely, totally focus on it. And it pushed every button, but I would never, ever achieve it if I didn't give it a try. And it would have just gone to the graveyard and been there with all the other ideas. And so I had to dream about it. And then I had to really, really believe that I could finish the writing. And I would say that I've probably written the script 1,000 times. You know, I've worked with a script mentor and I've worked with consultants, and I absolutely still totally believe, and we're on track to make it work. But it's like this dream, believe, absolutely believe that you can do it. And part of that belief is having self-confidence in yourself, overcoming, you know, your low self-esteem, overcoming your self-doubts, and learning that, you know, this is who you are. And this is the job that you have to do, is to create your own happiness, to create your own success. And so if something is not okay in your life, if something is making you feel not okay, it's how can you change your thinking about it. So even if it's a job you're in and you can't get another job, as an example right now, is that you can actually change your thinking about that. And, you know, like, what are the things that you can learn? What is it bringing me? You know, it's bringing me some wages that I can pay for food, rent, family, and all those sorts of things. So it's all like little steps how to change your thinking so that you can, you know, accept this is where you are. I've got something else that I want to aim for. I've got to overcome my fear to be able to learn how to do it. And it is learning how to do it. And one of the lovely things that I love, and I listen to The Secret every Monday morning. You know, my first time back in the office after the weekend, and that's a ritual for me. I've always got other things happening, but I do love it when Jack Canfield says that you can drive from New York to Los Angeles at nighttime, and all you've got to see is the next 200 meters as far as the light is shining. And that is just so true. And so when we think about fear, that's exactly the same thing as well. It's like, what are the things we need to do this second? What are the next thing we're doing? What are the next thing we're doing? What are the next thing we're doing? As soon as we've done that, something else is going to pop up. And so if I sort of pull it all together and sort of said, well, what John Assaraf is talking about, Neurolinks, Tony Robbins is talking about, you work your way through it. I know that I've done it, and for myself, and I know that I need to do it for my next business and part of the business that is growing as well. And so hence I had to go looking for some new information as I sort of slipped into that. And fear happens as well when we are starting something new, when we are outside of our comfort zone, because our dreams are always outside our comfort zone. So I hope you have found that helpful. If you're interested in a free 30-minute dream, achieve, succeed breakthrough session, there is a link down below, or otherwise you can find me on Facebook and just sort of send a message. Or if you want to email me, my email is janice@attitudespecialist.com. So janice@attitudespecialist.com. Or find me on Facebook, or look at the information below and you'll find a link to be able to book some time with me. So thank you for your time. I hope this has helped you with overcoming your fears, and go well.